ago. $5,000 in adult startup money? How does that equal abandonment? Oh, to have these problems.
Is even the people who hate me are like manifesting great success for me. Unhinged and delusional Hollywood screenwriter, spars with Breakdancing Dad, Hollywood screenwriter. Okay, it's not giving assistant anymore. This is some Republican article. Madi, a California-based comedian with a huge TikTok following. Woo! You guys need to understand this is a huge step up because when I went viral and ended up on Fox News, everybody was calling me a self-proclaimed comedian. So now it's like the tides are shifting. TikTok star. Okay, and this article hates me, but honey, they're calling me a star. Anyway, you slice it, whether you like me, whether you hate me, whether you think I'm lying, whether you think my dad's lying. Madi Hart, big, famous girl, famous rich, famous Hollywood writers.
Gen Z is in trouble, and it's not just the things we see every single day about the state of the world they are inheriting, their loneliness, their mental health, and feelings of nihilism. Gen Z is dealing with something more sinister and more dangerous in today's day and age, and that is the desire to be famous. Around 78% of Gen Z teens say they are willing to share personal information in the pursuit of online fame. This means that Gen Z is more willing to expose themselves in a myriad of ways. The millennials before them were brought up in the early days of the internet, where fear-mongering was made by everyone. Teachers, parents, commercials. The fear of what could happen on the internet when sharing personal information was a big deal then. And while Gen Z knows this, they don't seem to care. They are more interested in becoming an influencer because Gen Z's trust in influencers and celebrities is increasing yearly. Madi Hart, a Gen Z TikToker that recently went viral when sharing her personal story about her dad abandoning the family to pursue breakdancing, is the perfect example of the Gen Z desire to become famous in what looks a lot like any means possible, even if that means lying.
What's a piece of trauma that you have that's funny? It has to actually be funny. I'll go first. My dad abandoned my family when I was 5 years old. That is a wife and 4 kids. He abandoned us and then pursued amateur breakdancing. And he got really good. He like blew up. Like he became like a D-list celebrity status, like viral breakdancer. He became like the oldest actively competing breakdancer in the world. Then he got on Good Morning America and talk shows, and Washington Post wrote about him, and he went super viral, and he did all these interviews, and he danced with Paula Abdul. And here, I'll show you. This guy wouldn't pay my medical bills. The worst part, damn it, he's good. He should not be able to move his body like that. It's like impossible. It's beautiful. Hey, Dad. Like there was no split custody or anything. Like he just like left 4 kids to do that. He may not have paid for some of my medical bills growing up, but he did give me this breakdancing merchandise. So that's him. He's on his head. Benihana is his b-boy name because his name is Ben Hart. You know, I'll get texts like this, happy birthday, ? And then like links to his breakdancing video.
Abandonment is not unique to Madi. It's a universal feeling and experience that many have felt, and not just from a parent. And that's why Madi's video went viral. It's relatable. It tugs on those heartstrings and pangs of sympathy because so many people can relate. Where the relatability seems to dissipate is the dancing along, saying, "Hi, Dad," and showing text messages between them. Would you be grooving along to music that a parent that supposedly abandoned you is dancing to? Especially if that was the sole reason for their leaving? Madi claims that was why he left the family, to pursue breakdancing. And her overall demeanor in the first video makes it seem like Dad wasn't in the picture much at all. For many, abandonment looks like never seeing or hearing from that person again. No contact, no texts, no nothing. That is textbook abandonment. If Madi's quest for fame was what she was truly looking for, she got it. But like all magic comes with a price, so does going viral, especially when someone can bring receipts.
And we get along great. At least I think we do. First, I can see that as a 5-year-old, Madi would see her dad as having abandoned the family. One day I was living there, the next day I wasn't. And that will look like abandonment to a child. But married couples do get divorced about half the time in America. And I was just living a mile or so down the street in LaGrange, Illinois. We just weren't living under the same roof. It was the financial arrangement of the divorce. Madi's mom, my ex-wife, got $2 million at the get-go, out of the gate, a lump sum payment. Plus I was paying her $18,000 per month in child support and alimony. This was later reduced to $12,000 per month. And of course I paid health insurance and out-of-pocket medical costs. I also put $600,000 into the kids' college fund. In all, I paid out about $5 million to my ex-wife to cover costs for her and the kids.
Because Madi gave the full name of her dad was inundated by the internet with people calling him a deadbeat dad and shaming him for what he did. It got so viral and out of hand that even his clients were asking about it and wondering if it was true. Her dad claims that he asked her and her mom to take the video down, but that Madi didn't want to take it down because it went viral. So this is why he made a response and provides the details that he does. $5 million is nothing to scoff at. that. That is more than a lot of people will ever see in their own lifetime, let alone from a parent. And especially from a parent that supposedly abandoned the family. $18,000 a month in child support is a hell of a lot, paying for medical care and costs and over $600,000 in a college fund for the kids. I mean, even parents that haven't abandoned their kids can't provide all that. That is some real upper middle class living right there. And if the dad is telling the truth, which let's face it, he does have a lot more to lose than Madi, then is Madi just one of the 78% of Gen Z kids that's so eager to become famous that she's willing to play with the truth, using trauma as a feel sorry for me clickbait kind of story? What do you think?
I saw the kids all the time. No abandonment, just a divorce. I did not abandon the family for breakdancing. I have a career. I'm in the advertising business. Built an ad agency. That's how I was able to afford to pay Maddie's mom $5 million. Maddie's mom and I separated in 2004 and divorced in 2005. I took up breakdancing entirely by accident in 2012 as a way to get in shape at the age of 54. I then just kept doing it. I'm now age 66.
All of this might truly be a trauma for Madi, but the fact is that a lot of people have had it a hell of a lot worse. And she used those heartstrings, those people that have experienced something like that, to go viral. Madi is not the first and will not be the last person that plays with the truth or outright lies in order to get famous, create a bit that makes them go viral and gain a lot of attention. I don't know if Madi is telling the truth or not, and while I think her dad has his obvious faults, he has a lot more to lose being a seemingly multi-millionaire professional in his 60s. Also, from what her dad is saying, was he possibly a somewhat absent father? I'd say yes, but did he full-on abandon the family? That's where the story gets even more intriguing.
It's like, I don't actually have like bad will. I posted my video because it's a very funny story. It's very silly. I like to laugh at my trauma instead of like being super sad about it. But I know my dad posted like a 10-minute video or whatever being like, you know, my daughter's lying. We have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with all my kids. That's just objectively not true. Like, guys, we're all freaking out about this in my family group chat right now. We're being like, he's so unhinged and delusional. We don't know if he actually believes his own narrative or if he's lying on purpose, but he's just like a weird guy. Yeah, he said he lived down the street from us. That's not true. Or like if he did, it was only for a few months maybe. But actually for most of my childhood, he lived in Florida with his new wife. Like, basically, like, I don't want to get into this. Like, again, like, my video was basically, like, sanitizing the situation and, like, poking fun at the lightest parts of that childhood trauma. But obviously, in real life, it was a lot more, like, complicated and traumatic. And it was really hard. He left us, immediately married another woman. We didn't hear from him for years. And then he would visit every few months, and we'd go out to dinner. But, like, he truly had no hand in raising us at all. We don't speak with any sort of regularity. He doesn't know when my birthday is. Like, as you guys saw in the video I posted, he got it wrong. He gave us some money growing up. I honestly don't know the nitty-gritty of the financial situation. I really, really don't. But I do know that several times I've asked him for financial help with medical expenses, like, especially like in college, and he wouldn't help me. So that's what I was referring to in my video when I was like, he wouldn't pay some of my medical bills. Bottom line is, this guy was a completely absent father. He's like, I was just a bike ride away from those kids. And it's like, not once did any of us ever take a bike ride to his house. I don't think I've ever been in his house ever. So this whole thing is so bizarre. Like, I'm so surprised that he responded to my video because I'm just like, damn, I could have actually made you seem like way worse than I made you seem. Like, in my video, I just made you seem like such a whimsical, funny guy. Like, but in real life, it was actually a lot darker. So I'm so surprised that he responded to it. And it's obviously kind of hurtful and weird. But again, we don't really have a relationship. So at the end of the day, it doesn't have a huge effect on me. It's just kind of a bummer for my family. And we're all kind of looking at this and looking at his response. And we're just like, this is crazy. If this is actually his narrative, it's like delusional.
Okay, so let's roll tape to see what childhood was actually like for my kids. And let's see how my relationship was with the kids even after the divorce. We have with us here Maddie Hart. She is a YouTube specialist. How many videos, Maddie, do you have on YouTube now?
About 54.
And what is your goal?
One day I want to be a partner.
What does that mean?
It means you get paid to make videos. Yeah.
So, Maddie, I'd like some more YouTube insights and clarification. What is the difference between a subscriber and a viewer and a friend? So you have about 300 subscribers, but how many viewers of your videos would you say you've had so far?
I have several thousand views on my videos, several thousand views on my channel, and just like 500 friends.
Does any of this look like abandonment to you? Now granted, Maddie's parents did get a divorce and the kids lived with the mom. In Maddie's second video, she again says that her dad just up and left, but then says that they saw him every few months or so. And while they may have truly only seen their dad a few times a year, this is not abandonment. at least not in the technical sense, and definitely not in the way that most people that have been abandoned have experienced it. They're going to water parks, restaurants, vacations. Her dad is present at their graduations, and not only was he doing all this, he cared enough to make videos of them and still has them. I don't know how other people feel, but that to me shows a lot of care and love from a father that is probably missing his kids and is eager to spend time and record it so that he has memories he can look at when he's not with them. That's huge. And again, not something that most people that have been abandoned have received.
Let me be clear, Madi is not lying in her video. She is saying in these videos what she perceives to be true from her perspective. She's expressing her truth, and her perception is impacted radically by 19 years of brainwashing by my ex-wife. I don't want anyone attacking or bullying Madi for her videos. Her videos express her perspective, and I believe they are honest from her perspective. So feel free to direct negative comments my way, but please don't bully Madi.
I appreciate what her dad is saying here. He's trying to protect his daughter, not go after her or encourage others to do so. But like most things, there are consequences to your actions, and Madi is going to be dealing with the consequences, whatever they look like, because she chose to not only share her own personal story, but call out her dad and begin this whole thing. So I get what her dad is trying to do. But the real world, if you haven't been prepared for it and set up properly, can slap you across the face real hard. And something tells me that this likely is the first time that Madi has had to seriously react with the real world. She comes off as spoiled and privileged, at least to me. What do you think?
I asked Madi to take down her video and at least correct the damaging inaccuracy. It just wasn't true that I wasn't covering medical costs. I told her almost everyone I know had seen it, including clients. It had the potential to hurt my business, hurt me professionally. And I certainly don't think she meant any harm by her first video. But she declined to take down her video because she said her video had gone viral, so she didn't want to take it down.
So Madi didn't want to take her video down because it went viral, even though it was, in a way, affecting her dad's business. And there's another thing that I think is important to take note, because a lot of people were saying in comments and videos on this subject, critiquing her dad because he was reading from a script. What Madi is doing in her first and second video is borderline defamation. I think her dad is doing a few things here, writing a script so that he can read from it and making sure that he gets all of the defamatory points laid out and responded to, and also making a public record that is disputing the points in Madi's video. I don't know if he sought any legal counsel on this, but if this continues to get out of hand, which it very well could, then Madi's dad is actually doing the smartest thing. He's detailing every point, rebutting it, and also providing proof, something that Madi has still yet to do.
Madi's mom started to freak out, sent me long text messages telling me to take my video down. I'm like, but Madi's video is still up and has 7 million views, and that's just on TikTok. Plus, Madi has posted a much more negative second video, full of inaccuracies.
There is so much about this that I personally can't relate to. If you can, let us know in the comments below. Ben's second video response is a bit long, but there are some key things here that need to be shown because they fly in the face of almost everything Madi purported in her first video, where she claimed that her dad just up and left the family to pursue breakdancing and that he wasn't there for her, including not paying for medical costs. But Ben has been supporting Madi since she graduated from college. And I don't know about you, but this is again another area where I just can't relate. And a part of me wishes these were my problems.
Madi graduated from Northwestern University in 2021. Upon graduation, she went to Los Angeles in hopes of becoming a Hollywood screenwriter. She asked me for $5,000 to help get her set up in Los Angeles, which I agreed to against my better judgment. Basically, I have trouble saying no to Madi. So against my better judgment, I gave Madi $5,000 for Adulthood startup money in LA.
Wait! You're telling us that you gave your daughter just about 2 years ago $5,000 in adult startup money? How does that equal abandonment? Oh, to have these problems.
In addition, her mom and I bought her a used car, a Ford Fiesta. I think her mom and I pitched in $2,500 each. Madi might have put in some money also. I think the car was about $7,500. I also co-signed a lease for her on her apartment.
Are you kidding me? Co-signing a lease for an apartment? Is anyone else experiencing a what the actual fuck thing here? Because I just can't relate to these being your problems, your trauma. I'm not saying bad things haven't happened to you, but I think a lot of people that grew up with not much money and are still figuring things out would find $5,000 to be an absolute blessing. Having parents buy you a car and setting you up in your own place, and also knowing that you have them to fall back on, what a privilege that must be. Now, before we get into this next part, let's take a big deep breath. Okay, now let's rewind and go back to something that Madi said about her dad in the first video.
This guy wouldn't pay my medical bills.
Now, this is a huge claim. Huge! Well, lo and behold, her dad is also bringing receipts when it comes to the so-called medical bills that he didn't pay for.
But also, she had broken up with her boyfriend around this time. She said she needed to go to grief counseling and therapy. She and her mom wanted me to pay for that too. That's where I drew the line. I consider medical care to be like when you're sick or have a broken leg or need stitches, got into a car accident, stuff like that. Not grief counseling over a breakup with a boyfriend. So I guess these were the medical bills that I was refusing to cover.
I know I'm repeating myself, but like, what the actual How are these your problems? Grief counseling for a breakup? I mean, what? Are you serious? This is why we can't have nice things. For the sake of time, I'm going to summarize this next part. Her dad discusses her job in LA, working for Peacock and Netflix during the writer's strike, and it was during the writer's strike that she lost her job at Peacock and again reached out to her dad for money, and he obliged her. Again!
She, of course, approached me to see if I could help her out with funds. Otherwise, she said she'd be forced to move back to Chicago and live with mom. So I agreed to pay her $250 per week while the writer's strike was still going on, and until she could land some other kind of work, even temporary work. And I told her this would be a month-to-month thing. I wasn't going to just pay her $250 per week indefinitely. So I paid the $250 per week, I think for 10 weeks, until she was able to land a job at Netflix. Eventually, the Hollywood writer's strike ended, and she got her job back on the show she was working on for NBC Peacock streaming. But she still constantly needed money from me. These Hollywood jobs pay almost nothing at the junior level. So yes, it is a financial struggle for her. But this idea that Madi and I have not had a good relationship is just not true. Well, at least in my mind.
Madi's dad continues to show receipts, scrolling through text messages they have exchanged. Her asking for a $300 tapestry for her birthday. Yeah, a $300 tapestry. Make it make sense.
Hi, Dad. For Christmas, I want a specific fabric tapestry. I've been eyeing it forever, and I want it in my room so badly. It's $300. Is this something you'd be willing to get me for Christmas instead of the usual check?
She also traveled to see him for Christmas? I mean, it goes on and on.
I answer, okay. When will you be arriving in Illinois? 12/22, she says, exclamation point. Okay, good, I say, exclamation point.
He continues discussing other expenses he covered, like $700 on her car and its tire, etc., etc. So is Madi telling the truth? Is her dad lying about all this? What do you all think? I think that Madi, being an aspiring screenwriter working in Hollywood and wanting to make it big, decided to parse down her story into a minute-long bit and related it to people's actual struggles and realities of being abandoned and capitalized on that in order to garner some views and fame. Madi also made a third and what looks like final video. Did she provide anything of substance in that follow-up rebutting any of the claims that her dad made? No! She just goes on to say that her dad is saying she has millions of followers, is upset at Candace Owens for saying she has millions of followers when she has only 70,000. While Candace's team should have seen that she doesn't have millions of followers, Madi's TikTok does have over 7 million views. And a couple comments I saw in different videos here and there, people were saying that boomers don't know the difference between views and followers. And it may be that her dad is just looking at the wrong number. And some have even said that parents think that their kids are great and that that's why he said she is a screenwriter when apparently she's just an assistant at Netflix. But in a completely different video, Madi is talking about writing a script and checking out different coffee shops in LA, and that she's making a little series. At no time has Madi made a video that clapped back at her dad and his claims. If he was truly a deadbeat dad that abandoned the family, you'd think she would care about it since she's the one that started this whole thing. Which leads me to my last and final thoughts on all of this. Is any of this real? I had several thoughts when I first came across this story, and while we are likely never going to know all the details, here are some things that I think are a possibility. The first and most obvious one is that Madi lied or embellished in order to get some clicks and fame, and it's quickly backfiring on her because her dad is bringing more receipts than she is. The second is maybe Madi is telling the truth and everything her dad is saying is just a lie. I don't really believe this one though, because her dad does have the vacation tapes and is also a professional that was getting a lot of heat for this and needed to make something public. So no matter how you slice it, Madi is not really correct in calling it abandonment per per se. Absent? That's a high possibility. The third and kind of intriguing thing that I have been thinking is, what if this was all a ploy to get Madi some spotlight on her writing so she could write a script about all this? Her dad even said this.
But the more I watch the video, the more I like it. And I do think it's a great storyline that a 54-year-old dude left his family to pursue breakdancing, even if not quite true factually. But perhaps it speaks to a bigger truth, a truth that is really truer than the actual facts of the matter. This could be a very funny movie plot. So maybe Madi will make this movie about her 66-year-old breakdancing dad.
I could see this third option being true, mostly because her dad has said that he is in the advertising business and the dude seems to know how to sell himself and ideas. People do a lot of things and are willing to cross a lot of lines to get famous. Maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe they are just working together to get fame for both of them? What do you think? My last thoughts are this. A part of me feels like Madi is jealous. In the way she talks about her dad and his dancing abilities, saying he shouldn't be able to move his body like that, I couldn't help but think that maybe she is wishing she could do what he is able to do, because he is showing some real true talent. And in one of the articles I read about Gen Z, there was a discussion about the differences between talent and spectacle, because right now, especially on TikTok, it's all about the spectacle and not necessarily having the talent. I'm wondering if Madi is going for spectacle because of a possible lack of talent. I don't know. Just a thought. I'm not saying Madi isn't talented. She has a pretty good following on TikTok and her videos are very well done and all of that stuff, but just something that was going through my head as I was finishing up this video. There's one thing that I hope Gen Z takes from Madi and this video, it's that there is always a price to pay. What you do and how you pay it is going to follow you for a long time. For the generation that was raised on the internet and social media, Gen Z does have a higher hill to climb because so much of their lives are out there for all to see. I hope that Madi's video will slowly but surely go into the archives of TikTok fame and she doesn't have too many repercussions to pay for this. But all Gen Z should take her as a lesson that sharing too much can bring more than you expect. So what do you all think? I'm very eager to hear what y'all have to say about this because this has been such internet drama for quite some time. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, please leave a hug emoji and also hit that like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on new videos. It really helps out the channel. It's completely free and I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, take care, and be kind to each other.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. It's over.